We do have a big story developing this morning. Look at this monster storm brewing right in the middle of the country. It has already spawned some monster tornadoes. Take a look at the damage. These are brand new aerials coming in from Rowlett, Texas. Overnight, several twisters reported in the state with at least 11 people killed. It's very easy to see the destruction this tornado wrought. Many homes are severely damaged, their roofs ripped off, cars are overturned, debris everywhere. By all accounts, it is a devastating scene. We have team coverage of the storm, and we begin with ABC's Philip Mena in Rowlett. Philip, good morning to you.
Dan, good morning. Pretty much everything around here is soaked, and it's hard to wrap your mind around the magnitude of the devastation. You see cars and power lines blown into the street, homes blown to bits, and in this neighborhood, the devastation is everywhere that you look.
That's it! Oh my God, that's it! That's it!
Overnight, a series of tornadoes devastating North Texas.
That's a tornado!
Carving a path of destruction through the greater Dallas area.
Huge tornado! Holy!
Leaving at least 11 dead and injuring more than 50 others in Collin and Dallas counties, forcing officials in some areas to declare a local disaster.
Oh no, it hit something. Something's on fire.
The National Weather Service sending out a tweet at 6:56 Saturday night, telling people to get to shelter now if in the area.
Fort Worth has issued a tornado warning.
Tornado warnings and sirens sounding off through the cities as the large and extremely dangerous twisters leveled entire neighborhoods, flipping cars and crumbling this church in Glen Heights.
Everything collapsed and went dark and fell on top of me.
The church's pastor, who was inside when the cyclone hit, saying it happened so fast he couldn't escape, the building caving in on top of him.
So I started crawling towards the hallway but couldn't go very far because everything had already collapsed.
Another enormous twister seen here ripping through Red Oak, Texas, taking down power lines and causing a series of explosions.
We got gas everywhere.
Dozens of gas leaks and fires springing up in the wake of the wreckage, leaving over 50,000 people without power immediately following the storm. The violent storm visible even from the air, as Love Field Airport was forced to divert flights and evacuate terminals. And this morning, officials in Rowlett issuing a 24-hour curfew.
We're asking non-emergency personnel to stay out of Rowlett at this time.
As we were going to air this morning, we saw police running past us. They tell us that someone was still trapped down that street. So the recovery efforts are still far from over. And as you can tell, so is the storm. Dan?
Frantic and active scene. I know you've been on the ground in that area all night. Just give us a sense of what you're seeing. How widespread is the damage?
Well, just driving over here to this neighborhood, we saw home after home after home that looked similar to this. We saw cars that were just blown into the street, a convoy of wreckers on the highway filled with flattened vehicles, and hotels around town are really filling up with all the displaced residents.
Philip Mena on the ground. Thank you, Philip.
So tough to look at. And this morning, so many people still picking up the pieces after those tornadoes. As Philip just said, when it was all over, sheer devastation.
I mean, just thankful that we're alive. That's all.
I looked out my window and saw the funnel, around my house, and then I just dove into the hallway. It was too late to get anywhere safe.
We saw an explosion, an electrical explosion, and it was spinning just right towards us, and we ran in the bathtub, and all you heard was just debris hitting the house, hitting the house, hitting the house, and then all you see is just trees and a washing machine. And
I've been going around up and down the alleys turning gas off, make sure a lot of the houses the gas was just blowing through. It's crazy.
All the smoke, the fires, it just all sits in, and it's I'm still in disbelief right now. I still can't believe it's happened.
It's just sad. It's hard to see all these people's livelihood gone. Cars destroyed, flipped over in front of houses, and it's just hard to see.
It's when the sun comes up that really hits for these folks. You see that devastation. You don't realize overnight how bad it really is.
The bad news is there's more bad weather on the way.
There is, and it's in the southeast. That death toll is still rising from days of tornadoes there and torrential downpours that sparked major flooding. And now millions more in the central part of the country are facing blizzard warnings. Meteorologist Indra Peterson's here now tracking it all. Indra, what's going on out there?
It's hard to believe, right? This is supposed to be the biggest travel day of the year. And take a look at this map behind me. 90 million people. 90 million people could see bad weather, and then you have everyone traveling as well. Now, hard to believe all this is from the exact same same system. So we have winter storm warnings, flood warnings, we have ice storms now in the mix, and even blizzard warnings. And here you go. Let me explain why this is all one system. All you have to remember is a low goes counterclockwise. So if you're on the front side of the system, you're pulling all that moisture out of the Gulf, and you're getting that severe weather and the threat for heavy rain and flooding. But on the back side of the system, all that cold air, that's coming straight down from Canada, and that's the same reason you're getting those gusty winds and also that threat for blizzards out there and heavy amounts of snow. As the day goes on, it only gets worse. I know so many of you are thinking, okay, well, what if I stall a little bit? Not the case. Look at the system spread into the Midwest. We're even having an icing threat as we go through outside portions of Chicago in through tomorrow, and we're not done there. By the time we get through Monday and through Tuesday, this guy heads straight into the Northeast. Hard to believe, a lot of severe weather still into the mix.
Indra, thank you. And as